All right, so in this video here, we're going to talk about the suit salesman. So as I said on my disclaimer, guys, girls, transgenders, I'm not a marketer. I'm not like some professional salesperson. But look, you can take $1 million sales training, you can take $20,000 sales training, and learn a bunch of sales tactics if you want. Another option, and if you're wondering, I accidentally picked the wrong guard for my trimmer. I picked the wrong one, and I was going to trim my eyebrows up, but I accidentally put the wrong guard on because I was tired. Basically shaved my eyebrows off. So we got that out of the way. I don't have any eyebrows. But anyways, you can take real expensive training courses if you want. Another thing that you can do is you can just go through sales processes. All right? It's easy. This is something that I actually do all the time. I'm gonna admit I sign up for sales calls for things that I don't really plan on buying at all, but I know that they sell a lot of those things, and I want to watch their sales process. I want to see their sales process and see how they actually do their sales process. So this is one good way to actually learn more and more and more about sales is go to the car lot to buy a car. A salesperson will come out 9 times out of 10. Well, maybe let's say 7 times out of 10. Some X amount of times out of 10, that salesperson has been trained. That $20,000 sales training course, the $100,000 sales training course, they've been through it. Go look at houses. The realtor has been through some sales training. All right? Go to a jewelry store. They've been through some sales training. So go to places, online whenever you're looking at different programs, especially like coaching programs and stuff like that. Go through the sales process. All right? Grant Cardone, I know he has a licensing program, has several different programs. If you sign up, they're going to book a call. You're going to go through their sales process, and you can observe. You can see how they do it. Now, Grant Cardone, he's known for being a sales guy and doing sales training, so you could pretty much bet that all the salespeople that work for him have been through a sales training. So everything that you need to learn about sales, you can learn a lot of it just by going through their sales process. That being said, I want to talk to you about the suit salesman because inside this suit salesman story, there are very key concepts that you can apply to your own sales process. So I'm going to tell you about the suit salesman, and then I'm going to give you a real life example on how I've actually used the same concept and the same principle to help me sell one of my actual programs, our partner program, where, by the way, in case you're interested, we actually let you partner with us and let you sell our software, many of which I gave you access to as lead magnets. So we give you access to those software so you can use them as lead magnets, you can use them as front-end offers, and give you access to software that you can actually sell for $47 a month, $97 a month, $100 a month, $200 a month, $500 a month, and keep 100% of the revenue. So I'm going to give you a real-life example on how I've used the suit salesman concept to sell a lot of my own stuff, all right? And if you don't believe me, if you think that everything I'm talking about here is bullshit, and you're like, well, John, you yourself said you're not a marketer and you're not a sales guy. I don't believe you. I think you're just fucking making shit up. Go to your local store where they sell suits and go through this process and see. All right? So if you were to go and try to buy a suit, all right, at like a typical department store, the ones I'm talking about where they have floor salespeople on the floor, and whenever you go wandering through, here comes a sales guy. They watch you for a little bit, and then they come up to you, and then they try to help you. They try to sell you something. They're there to actually sell you something. So if you go to a store like that, you can actually go through this process and see this process. All right? So the suit salesman, I'm going to show you exactly what the suit salesman does. You go in, you want to buy a suit. All right? Salesman, you go in, you're looking around. Salesman comes up, and he's watching you. Now he is going to try to sell you something. Now I'm going to make a couple other videos about sales in this series where I'm going to teach you some of the other stuff about information gathering and having the conversations and actually gathering information and how information is actually your biggest weapon whenever it comes to sales. That will all be done in another video. In this video, we're just going to talk about a very specific part of the sales process. All right. So after some of his sales process that we're going to cover in another video, one of the things the suit salesman is going to do is he is going to show you some suits. Now, if you guys know Russell Brunson or watch Russell Brunson, he gets most of his ideals and concepts from other people. But one of the things that he teaches and he talks about is price marination. And price marination is basically where you tell somebody the price and let them marinate on that price. So you tell them, okay, hey, blah, 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 blah. If I were to do this and do this and do this, I'm going to sell you this thing that's $10,000. And you give them this $10,000 price at the beginning, and you let them marinate on that. You let them think about that, right? You let them start to think about that $10,000 price tag, and then you go in after you price marinate them. You guys know what a marinade is. Whenever you cook steak or whatever, or some type of meat, you put it in some type of acidic thing, and let it sit in there and let it tenderize and let it marinate and soak up those juices. All right, that's what the price marinade is doing. You're anchoring a price. You're putting a price out there, and you're anchoring a price. This is a $10,000 program, and then you're actually justifying the $10,000. Let's say maybe you're putting $100,000 worth of value, and it's got a price tag of $10,000. So I price marinade, I price anchor. It's like the same thing. So I'm going to anchor, or I'm going to price marinade, let's say a $10,000 price. I'm going to tell you, hey, this is a $10,000 program. I'm going to show you how this is worth $100,000 or $500,000 or $1 million. All right? But it's a $10,000 program. Now I'm going to go through after I marinate, and you're just marinating in that $10,000. It's on your mind. I've anchored that $10,000. Now I'm going to go in and justify that $10,000. I'm going to show you all the value in this program. I'm going to show you how there's $100,000 worth of value in this program that now in your mind is $10,000. And then after I do all my justifications, after I justify the $10,000 price that I anchored, that I marinated, and I justify that where you're like, wow, that really is worth $10,000. Then I'm going to swoop in and I'm going to tell you, it's not actually, if you sign up right now, it's not going to be $10,000. It's going to be $2,500 or $1,000 or whatever. The whole point and concept is I've marinated the $10,000 price. You've expected the $10,000 price. I've justified the $10,000 price and showed you how whatever it is that I'm offering is actually worth the $10,000. And then, like that, this is my magic wand. And then, bam, I hit you with the discount and I let you know it's not $10K. It's $2,500. You were expecting 10K. I justified the 10K where you think, wow, that really is worth the 10K. And then when I reveal that it's only going to cost you $2,500, you're like, wow, that's cheap. That's cheap. All right. Now, if I would have done it the other way around, and I'm going to get to the suit salesman. I'm trying to make this fast. I'm trying to talk really, really fast and make sure that you guys actually are understanding the real concepts here, because I know some of you guys aren't actually pro at sales. Maybe you never made a sale before. All right. So if I would have started with the $2,500 and I would have said, hey, this package is $2,500, and then I go in and justify the $2,500 and I show you, let's say, $25,000 worth of value or $50,000 or $100,000 worth of value, and I justify the $25,000 price tag, and then after you're like, yeah, this really is worth $2,500, if I come back to you and, okay, it's $2,500, there's no, you were expecting that because I told you it was $2,500, so you were already expecting that. What you weren't really expecting is for me to come in and say, hey, but I'm not going to charge you $2,500. It's only going to be $497. When I do that, and you're expecting 10K, and I show you, let's say, $100,000 worth of value, and you're like, okay, that definitely is worth the 10K, and then I come in and I'm like, okay, but I'm not going to charge you 10K. If you sign up today, it's only going to be $2,500. Now you have that. Now all of a sudden, this becomes cheap, okay? This becomes cheap because you were expecting the 10K. I anchored the 10K. I marinated you on the actual 10K. So if I do the price anchoring and if I do the marination, the price marination, but I don't come back in later and give you, so if I do my anchor here, oh, sorry, you can't see that. So if I do my anchor here for 10K, all right, and I show you, let's say 100K worth of value, and I marinate you at 10K, and I'm like, okay, hey, this is going to be 10K. It's a 10K program, but look, it's 100K worth of value. And you're like, you know what? Yeah, this is definitely worth 10K. If I come back and I tell you, hey, it's going to be this, there's no boom. This does not magically seem cheap to you. It doesn't magically seem inexpensive to you because that number's been in your head the whole time. All right? So whenever I come in and I now say, okay, hey, this is going to be $2,500, at that point, this is where that's where that happens, and the offer now all of a sudden becomes cheap, and people are like, okay, hey, I'm going to buy that because it's an amazing deal. I thought it was going to be 10K. It was worth 10K. I thought, wow, even in my head, I thought, wow, I'm getting a good deal for 10K, but it's only $2,500. This is like a fucking amazing deal. All right? So this is the concept of price marination, price anchoring. All right? So I wanted to get that out of the way because it kind of gets in, oops, sorry. I wanted to get that in the way because it kind of gets into the suit salesman, all right? So it kind of gets into this, gets into the suit salesman. If you go buy a suit, eventually through the sales process, after some conversation happens and some information gathering happens, the salesperson, if they're trained, they're going to gather as much information as they can. They're going to gather as much information as they can because they realize, and I'm going to do another video on this, they realize that that information is a weapon. They're going to use that as a weapon to get you to buy something. All right? So what is the suit salesman going to do? All right? Let's say he's got a suit, and this suit is 2K. He's got another 1K suit. He's got a $500 suit. He's got a $250. He's got a $100. Oh, let's do this. And then let's say, I don't know what type of suit you're going to get for this, but let's say he's got a $50 suit. Okay, so these are your suit options. These are the options of suits that you can go in and actually buy. He's got a 2K suit, he's got a 1K suit, he's got a $500 suit, he's got a $250 suit, he's got a $100 suit, he's got a $50 suit. So when the suit salesman starts to show you suits after he gathers information, even if you tell him what your budget is and you're like, okay, I can only spend $250, even if you do that, odds are the suit salesman, what he's going to do is he's going to start right here, okay? Now, whether he starts here or whether he starts here is going to depend a little bit on this information that he gathered, but he's going to start right here. Even if you tell him, hey, look, I only got a $250 or I got a $100 budget or I got a $50 budget, the suit salesman is going to start with one of these two options, and these are the suits that he's going to show you. All right. So let's say he starts at this $500 option right here. So now he shows you this $500 option. Here's the suit. He starts showing you these suits. You look at the price tag. You're like, whoa, $500. That's a lot for a suit. I don't have that. I can't. I'm not really prepared to spend that much. Okay. No problem. Look, I've got a couple other suits. They're not as good a quality as this suit. Obviously, they're not the same quality, but I've got some other options. They're still good quality. Let me show you something else. Then he's going to move down. Then he's going to move down here. All right. Now you look at this $250 suit. It's like, okay, hey, this is good. I like it. Still a little bit out of my budget. Oh, okay. Well, this is actually our best seller. This is one people usually buy because it's a great quality. It's great value for the money. But if it's a little bit too much for you, let me show you one other option. I've got one other option that may actually work for you, and he's going to show you this suit. All right, this $100 suit. You're going to look at that suit, and if this is still a little bit outside of your budget. All right? If he senses that this is really kind of outside of your budget, he's then going to fall back to his lowest price suit. But when he falls back to this lowest price suit, and if you don't believe me, just go try to buy a suit, and you're going to see this exact process. Now that you're seeing it here, you're going to see this exact process unfold in front of you. Now, he's going to try to guilt you on psychologically, indirectly, he's going to try to guilt you on this suit and why you don't actually want this suit by associating this suit with people that you don't actually want to be like, because really psychologically nobody, for some reason psychologically, and this is a video that you're going to find in the mindset, and if you can fix this part in your mindset, you're going to have a one-up on like so many people in the world, because for some problem in society, in this world that we live at, for some reason people really give a lot of fucks what other people think about them for some reason. And people feel embarrassed about stupid stuff for some reason. And because of that human psychology, nobody really wants to buy the cheapest stuff when there's another person there, when there's a salesperson. Now, if there's no person there in the transaction doing the selling, people will buy the cheapest stuff, all right? But if there's a salesperson in the transaction and that salesperson is telling you, well, this is the cheapest that I have. It's not really that great quality. It's the lowest. I just don't have anything lower than this. It's literally the lowest cost. I can't get lower. This is literally the cheapest suit that we make. For some reason, people don't want to buy that cheapest thing because they for some reason value the opinion of the random stranger, and they don't want the random stranger to think that they're broke and they're the cheapest person alive, and all they can do is afford the cheapest suit. So they're going to try to save face a little bit and come back to one of these two options. And these two options, this is what the suit guy wanted to sell you anyways, okay? This is what he was wanting to sell you anyways. He doesn't sell a whole lot of these suits, but he starts out with this because if you look, if I start out with this suit, and then you end up getting this suit, this $100 seems cheap. It seems inexpensive. The same concept, the price marination, the price anchoring, okay? I've anchored this 1K price in your head, and now whenever I show you $100 options, that's a 90% discount. That's cheap. That's a good deal. If I show you this $250 option, that's cheap. That's a good deal. Psychologically, that's how your brain works. You're going to now think this is cheap. But if the suit guy would have started here at this $250 or would have started here at what you were actually going to buy, you would not have psychologically thought, okay, hey, this is cheap. What would have happened, okay, is the opposite. When I show you this 1K suit and then move you down to this $100 suit, psychologically you think, okay, this is cheap, this is a good deal, all right? On the other end, if I show you this $100 suit and then move you up to this 1K suit, psychologically, you don't think this is cheap, this is a good deal. You think this is expensive. So I hope you can see the difference there. In one of those scenarios, the thing that you're actually buying, the transaction, the thing that's being sold to you becomes cheap. It becomes a good deal. So that's a psychological trigger where, okay, you're wanting to buy that thing because you feel like, okay, hey, wow, this is cheap. This is a great deal because I showed you this first. I led with this first. If I do it opposite, which is why they never do it opposite. If I do it opposite and I show you these cheaper options first and I work my way up, the price marination, the price anchoring doesn't happen. And what ends up happening is the effect where you think, okay, this is cheap, this is a great deal, I should get this because this is a great deal, and you get triggered to make a transaction, you get triggered to buy. That doesn't happen. Instead, psychologically, what you think is this is expensive, okay? Do you see the difference? In one scenario, you're thinking this is cheap, this is a good deal, and the other scenario, you're thinking this is expensive. One scenario, the first scenario, starting with this, moving down that way, you think this is inexpensive, this is a good deal, there's a psychological trigger for you to buy. And the other scenario, starting down here, moving up here, You don't think this is inexpensive, this is cheap, this is a good deal. You think this is expensive, and there's no trigger for you to buy, okay? So that's how that works. That's how that price marinade works. And you may be asking, well, John, if that's the case, why doesn't the suit guy just start here? Why doesn't he just start here? And there's a reason for that. The reason for that is the same psychological vainness, mundaneness, vanity that humans have, this need to please other people and get their acceptance, where they don't want to buy the cheapest thing. Some people, they want to buy the most expensive thing, okay? So the suit salesman knows if he shows one of these two options that's not his most expensive thing, then some people, a small percentage of people, are going to be like, yo, that's nice, but do you have anything a little bit more expensive, you know? Do you have any higher quality stuff? And one of the key concepts of sales, I'm not going to go into it in this video, I'll just briefly tell you, is you don't want to tell your prospect no. You want to avoid no at all times. When you say no, they hear no, no gets in their head, and whenever it comes time to making a buying decision, that no is stuck psychologically in your head, which is why if you go through a sales process, you'll notice that they ask you a bunch of questions, and most of those questions, if not all of them, they try to ask you questions that only result in you saying yes. There's no option really for you to say no. They try to specifically remove any question where you can say no, because they're trying to psychologically condition in your brain, yes, 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 so that when it comes time to make a transaction and it comes time to buy, what's in your brain is yes, okay? Should I buy? Yes. Should I buy? Yes. They don't want you to go through questions saying and answering no. They don't want to answer no to you, because either way, whether they're telling you no or you're telling them no, when it comes time to buy, what's in your brain? No. Would you like to buy? No. Would you like to buy? No. Would you like to buy? No. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So they know, the salesperson knows that there is a certain avatar, there's a certain person who always wants something more expensive. They always want the best quality. They always want something better. Even if it's not better, it's just more expensive. They just want the more expensive thing. That's what they want. They want to buy the most expensive thing. So they know if they start up here and the guy says, oh, hey, this is great, but I'm bougie. I like a higher quality. Do you have anything more expensive? Anything better than this? They know the second that they say no, that it puts a no in the buyer's head, okay? So they want to be able to say, yeah, I do. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. And they want to now ascend that person and still put them in this yes ladder and be able to show them these higher price things, because now that solves the need for that person and it makes that sale easier. It's like, okay, hey, let me start you right here. Not with what I'm assuming this is my average transaction. This is the average thing that I'm going to sell. They know that, but they're never going to start here. They're going to start somewhere here, not at the very top, because they know that, okay, a certain person, most people are going to look at this and be like, okay, I need to get down here. A few people are going to be right in here and be like, okay, hey, I'm sold. Let's get this one. Let's get this one. And a certain person is going to look at these and be like, okay, hey, these are great, but hey, do you have anything, higher quality? Why? Because they want to impress. For some reason, again, this all goes back to human psychology and vanity. They're trying to impress a random stranger. That's what they're doing. They're like, hey, do you have anything more expensive? I like the more expensive thing. Yeah, sure. Let me show you. Oh, and what would a sales guy do? I realized you were high class when you came in. I kind of got that ideal that, hey, this is one of those important guys. This is one of those great guys. Yeah, let me show you our premium class. I rarely get to show, I'm glad you're here, because I almost never get to show these. I almost never get to show these to people, and when I do, they're to people just like you, and they just always buy them, and then boom, now we go show the expensive option. Okay, so hopefully this made sense. Hopefully you understand this whole idea of price marination and price anchoring. Okay, so what the fuck does that mean? Well, what does this mean? So I'm going to show you a practical example, what it means to you and how you do your shit. I don't know. That's completely up to you. if you're wondering, hey, what exactly should you do, just go watch my disclaimer. Just go watch my disclaimer again. So let me show you a real life example on how I actually do this for myself. All right. Hold on, we're syncing to the server or something. Let me refresh this page. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to show you a real life example. Hopefully, if my internet didn't disconnect here, I'm able to do this. So I'm so sorry. Looks like something's wrong with web whiteboard. Let's see. Are you going to load web whiteboard? Let's see. All right. So let me show you. Let me re-erase all this that I already erased once. All right. Let me show you. And I'm going to make another video on a specific part of this because it's something that's helped me and some of the people that's in our elite program, help some of them actually make a lot of additional revenue. All right, so I'm going to show you. All right, so I got this. It's $100. I got this. It's $497. I got this. It's $10,000. I got this. I got that. It's 20K. I got something even higher than that. All right. So okay, this is 20,000. And I got something higher than that. Now let's say this is for my partner program. Okay. This is for my partner program. I told you a little bit about my partner program. When I sell this program, all right, when I sell this program, I sell this. All right. Now what I'm trying to do is sell this. This is what almost everybody buys, and this is what I'm actually selling. So I want you to understand, this is what I'm actually selling. This is what I'm actually trying to sell. But what I sell is this. Okay? So I sell this. This is where I start. This is what I sell. And then I bring people down here. Okay? So I've got a program. I've got one that's $100 a month. I've got one that's $497 a month. I've got one that's $10K a year. I've got one that's $20K a year. I have one even higher than this, but let's not worry about that. In the partner program, when I'm selling this to people, this is what I actually sell. All right? So the whole presentation, the whole sales thing is around this. Okay? Now, I know most people aren't actually going to buy this. I know almost everybody buys this. A few people buy this. A few people buy this. Most people buy this. But I don't sell this, I sell this. All right? So I price marinade, I price anchored this. This is what I actually sell, but then I bring people down here because this is what I'm trying to sell. But if I just do $497 a month right off the bat and I start there, that may seem expensive. It doesn't seem inexpensive, okay? It may or may not seem expensive to people, but the thing is, it doesn't seem inexpensive. It only seems inexpensive when I start here and then I bring them down here. When I bring them down here, now all of a sudden, this seems to be inexpensive to them. If I start the other way around and I start selling this and then I try to bring them up here, it doesn't make this seem like it's inexpensive because I went backwards. It makes this seem expensive. So I really hope you understand the little slight difference here. In one scenario, this seems inexpensive. It seems like a good deal. In the other scenario, this seems expensive. When I start here and I bring them down here, this seems really inexpensive compared to that, and it seems like a great deal, triggers a buying response. If I start the other way around, here, it may seem expensive, it may not seem expensive, but it doesn't seem inexpensive, doesn't seem like a great deal. Even when I bring them up here, no buying response is triggered. And also, when I start here, I know they're going to end up here, and this is where most people actually buy. Some people, they do that same psychological thing. Hey, do you have any higher program? This one seems great and all, and I like it, but do you have a, I like to spend money. I'm really looking for this or that. Do you have any higher programs? Bring them up here. I don't want to say no. No, I don't. So I'm not going to start here and then bring them down here. I want to make sure that I have something here so I can tell them, yes, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Let me tell you about that. I usually don't tell people that. Let me tell you that. So this is a real live example of me and my process, all right? Another reason that I do this, all right, and I'm just going to be open, honest, and transparent about this, all right? No feelings hurt. Another reason that I do this, sales psychology, relationships, almost everything, even mindset. It's just human psychology. It's just mastering your brain, mastering your own mindset, and also understanding other people's brains, how they think, how they actually operate, all right? So another reason that I do this is when I start with this, what am I going to do? I'm going to start here with this program. I'm going to marinate the price, the 10K price, and then I'm going to go in and actually justify this $10,000 price tag and get them to understand that the thing that I'm selling for 10K is worth 10K. It's worth a lot more than that. 10K is a good deal for that. But then when I bring them down here, even though they could be getting something different, right? Even though they're not getting same thing, you can do the same thing and just say these are suits. These are all different suits instead of my partner program. When I go through all the features of this suit, I go through all the value of this suit, or I go through all the value of this program. I've told you the price. I've marinated the price. You've got that price in your actual head. Now I go through and I justify the price and make you believe that this is worth 10K. This is worth 10K. It's worth more than that. It's definitely worth 10K. All right? Now, when it's out of your reach, and we determine it's out of your reach, and I bring you down here, even whenever I go through the differences here, what stays in your mind psychologically is everything I justified here. So what stays in your mind psychologically, even if I tell you point blank, this suit is not the same quality as this suit, what stays in your mind is all the justifications that I did here. That's what stays in your mind. So what stays in your mind now is this is inexpensive, this is a great deal, and in your mind you're thinking about all the value of the $10,000 thing with the $497 price tag. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Just wanted to be honest and transparent. So hopefully that makes sense why you do this. So in your sales, again, you can go back to my disclaimer and just look at my disclaimer that says I'm not a marketer, I'm not a salesperson, okay? I'm no one, I'm nothing, my advice is stupid and pointless. I'm actually just here talking because I love being in my studio and looking at myself on camera and hearing my own voice, all right? So you can discard all my information. You can also look at your sales process and you can look, hey, whenever it is that you're selling what you're selling, are you actually selling the thing that you're selling? Or are you selling something else that makes what you're selling seem like a great deal? All right? Because personally, I've seen this actually work where it causes higher conversions. It gets more people to want to buy this thing than if I just start selling this thing. If I ignore all this and I just focus here and sell this thing, I get less people who want to buy. But if I sell this thing and focus on this thing and sell this thing. Because what I'm really trying to get people to buy is this. This is what I'm really trying to get them to buy, so I'm going to sell them this. I'm going to justify the value of this, and whenever they can't afford this and they want to go lower, I'm going to then bring them down here. Psychologically, they're now going to be like, wow, that's a great deal. You know, that's amazing. That's inexpensive. That's cheap. That's a great deal. And at the same time that they're thinking that and the buying triggers are happening, they're also thinking about this inexpensive low price. At the same time, they're thinking about all the value that's in here. So they're in their mind psychologically, even if you tell them, no matter what you tell them psychologically in their brain, what's happening to the average person psychologically in their brain is they're thinking, I'm getting this for this. Well, they're not at all, but that's what they're thinking, okay? And this is what's triggering the buying decision, because you wanted to sell this, you wanted them to buy this, and because of that, you don't sell that, you sell this. And then you give them this exit, this way, if this is too much, okay, let's look over here. I've got this, it's $4.97. Oh, wow, yeah, that's much more my style. I can do the $4.97, no problem. You see what's happening? I can start them with the $4.97. That seems a little much. What's all in the $4.97 thing? It's a little high. Oh, well, I've got a higher thing that's $10K. Oh, wow, that's expensive. Versus, I'm going to sell you this. Hey, here's my $10K program. It's got all this. Wow, that's a lot of value, but you know, that's way out of my price tag right now. Oh, okay, hey, how about this? Oh, $4.97, yeah, I can do that. I can totally do that. You know what? That's a great deal. Let's do it. Let's get it. All right, hopefully that made sense. But that is the suit guy. If you don't believe me, go buy a suit and you'll see exactly what I showed you. That's how the suit guy is going to sell you a suit. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you can now actually look at what it is that you're selling and find something that, if you're selling this, where you can actually put this in there and start selling this so that you can easily move people there, and it makes them want to buy like crazy. It triggers that buying response because you just made your offer very, very inexpensive. And then this is my, for me, this is my, let's not get off the sales call without getting some money. That's what this is. I have no intention. I don't want to sell this, okay? I want to sell this, so I sell this, hoping to sell that. And if by rare chance I still couldn't get you into this, I've got that one last opportunity because I don't want to get off the sales call without making a sale. All right? If this seemed great and you're like, wow, that's awesome, John, but hey, is there a way for me to work more deeply with you? Do you have a higher tiered program for more advanced people? I sure do. I'm glad you asked. I don't get to talk about this a lot because, you know, very few people qualify for it, but I sure do. Let me tell you about it. All right? Start here, trying to get them there. And if this fails, like my final grenade, I don't want to get off the call without making a sale. I want to make that sale. Let me put you in here. All right? Let's at least get you started. Let me help you out. Let me at least get you in here. And this usually works. So anyways, I hope that helps. If it doesn't, then just unwatch this video.